I just wanted to ask you why you think that Asians are not considered a minority whenever liberals talk about, how disadvantaged the Hispanic community is or the African community. Like, how come they never bring up how disadvantaged the Asians are when, in fact, they're not?
Well, first off, because they've screwed up every word in the dictionary. They use the word minority. Los Angeles is half Hispanic and 4% Asian, and they call the Hispanics the minority.
Yeah.
And they don't refer to Asians as minority. So that's insane.
Minority is a catch-all word for someone in this lower socioeconomic class who's not doing as well.
It used to mean somebody who there was lesser of than in the population.
Statistically,
Yeah, but now it just means someone is not doing well, which is weird. But I don't agree with that. The Asians kick ass, and they do it with no representation. They're not represented. You know, this thing where this nonsense BS we do all the time where it's like, hey, we need the law enforcement community to reflect the community. We need the fire department. We need the city council to reflect the community. Asians don't need that. They don't need teachers. They don't need firemen. They don't need city council. They don't need anybody. I don't know how many Asian firemen you guys have ever seen, Asian cops you've ever seen.
They need a violin, a quiet room.
Yes. Do you know how, or sometimes a cello, do you know how underrepresented they are in the Congress? Do you go all the way down the line? Does anyone we need a person of Asian descent as Secretary of State or whatever it is. They don't have any representation. They don't need representation. Representation doesn't help. Yeah. We see... We're insane because we think if you have a black mayor, then you're not going to have any problems with the black community, or there's not going to be problems or poverty or underschooling or whatever. Somehow the black mayor, or we'll get a black police chief. And then when somebody shoots somebody, whether it's a cop shooting somebody or another black guy shooting another black guy, we'll trot the black chief out there and he'll have the press conference and everyone will go, well, they must be doing something. That's called racist. That's a racist thought. See, the Asians, they don't think that way. They're smarter than we are. Here's what we do.
That's racist too, actually.
Yeah, here's what we do. Here's how it works. Black folk are out doing whatever black folk are doing. Hispanics are out doing whatever Hispanics are doing. Whitey, we wring our hands. We sit around and go, ooh, what did we do wrong? How can we fix this? How can we throw more money at the problem? What did we do wrong? Let's go find a mirror. Asians... They're not in that group, they're not in this group, and they're not in the hand-wringing group. They just go out and kick ass. So while we're busy rubbing the top layer of skin off our hands, they're just keeping their families together, starting businesses, getting educated, and kicking our asses. That's what they do. That's how you get along. That's how... nobody needs to take a knee for the Asians. Nobody needs to sit anything out. Nobody needs to have a symposium. Hey, Obama...
No candles through plates.
No candles through plates. Obama's going to do a 1-hour live honest talk on race, except for guess who's not coming up? Asians. Asians aren't going to break into that conversation. Why? Too busy kicking ass. Any Asians need to be in the audience when Obama has a race summit? Nope. Too busy kicking ass. Any leaders from the Asian community need to stand up and speak in platitudes to the millions of people at home who don't give a crap and aren't going to do anything? No. Too busy kicking ass.
And
now, by the way, pretty soon, Whitey, we're going to get to be a minority too because the Asians are beating us. In terms of median income and school and education and all the things that matter, they beat us. So how does that work? How did we screw up, blue-eyed devil? How did we let these little scoundrels get above us? Hold on, I thought we were racist. Remember the last Klan rally? And I was explaining we can't just keep focusing on black, Hispanic. We're screwing up. You blink your eyes and the Jews and the Asians have leapfrogged us. Whoa, we're so racist. It's so nuts. It's insane. It's insane. The Asians kick our ass and aren't considered a minority group and aren't represented or underrepresented, or you know what represents? They're represented in the who cares department. They don't care. They don't care what the principal they don't care what his or her nationality is. They don't care what the fire chief or the chief of police, senator, or the president. Don't care. Don't care. Too busy kicking ass. Why? I hope David Wild is sitting down. They focus on family and education. And thus, there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe we've tried to hold them down. We can't.
God knows.
Family-oriented, education-oriented. Nothing we can do, Gavin Newsom. So keep going with your plans to shut down those predatory check cashing places. I'm sure your black and Hispanic community will thrive in just a few months when you get that legislation pushed through, right?
No.
Idiots. Now here's the only question: do they know what they're doing? Does Gavin Newsom know he's a liar? Do they not know what they're doing? I know what they're doing. Go look at it. The Asians stay together. They don't do a lot of beating of their kids either. A little bit lighter than the rest of us.
Or shaming.
They do more shaming.
Shame ribbons.
But they don't physically put their hands on their kids, which then makes it easier for you to put your hands on a civilian or a cop or anyone else once you get out of high school, if in fact you do make it out of high school. So they keep the family together, they focus on the education, and then they basically just use our system. Because we have a system, and here's how our system works. See, in many parts of the country, I've never really thought about it, but let's just look at it this way. Hold on, is Will still there? Sorry, you got me fired up. Will?
What you
Still here.
did?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'll tell you what. I will simplify it because I'll do it for myself. It'll be easier for me. I've never really thought of it this way, but here's the deal. We, in this country, have something called a system, and our system can either work for you or work against you. Now, if you're coming from China or North Korea or many other parts of the world, it does not matter what your work ethic is, and it doesn't really matter about family and education and working weekends and any of that, because you have a system that that will not grow and nurture that because of the system. In those systems, it doesn't reward it. It doesn't work. So you can come from China or North Korea or whatever. You could be the most industrious, hardest working. I'm going to work every weekend and I'm going to take classes every night and all kinds of. You'll go right back into a system. Get in your gray pajamas and ride those bicycles from the 50s with too much fender and too much chain guard. We don't need the chain guard going all the way. Just the top part of the chain, not the bottom. Not the bottom. No what's going under there. It's overkill in the chain guard department.
We get it. We got to guard the chain.
You know what we do here in the United States? We take off our chain guard and we ride wheelies. Okay. So you have a system. Now, we have a system. Guess how our system works. Our system rewards education, intact families, most of all, just good old family, just good old fashioned like chutzpah, hard work, and grit.
Yeah.
That's our system.
It's the best chance for success.
Yeah.
Statistically.
So they come from a place where all the grit and hard work and the family and education, I mean, look, it'll keep your head above water, but you ain't taking over. Then you come here, United States, well, all you got to do is all those things you were going to do over there that weren't going to serve you, but you come over here and you get to take over with that. Now, it's perfect because what we do is we got whitey, black man, Hispanic man, and we're all going to argue over the system and how it's rigged and how we wish we could tell you it wasn't rigged, but it is rigged. And we'll argue over systemic this, and we'll argue over the cops that, and open season on them, and all that. Meanwhile, the Asians are going, look at all those retarded people.
The race has already begun.
They're going to be laughing their ass off. Obama's have another symposium on race. Oh, good, an honest. What is it? An honest dialogue? This is going to be good. All right, let's all get to work. And then they go kick our ass because we have a system that focuses much less on color and much more on ass kicking. If color was the main thing and ethnicity was the main thing we focused on, then we would be holding back the Eastern Indian folk and the Asian folk and folks, Jewish folks and folks of that nature. We don't. We focus on how much ass kicking do you do, how much family do you focus on, and how much education. That's how it works. And that's why the Asians are kicking butt with no representation at all, because they realize it doesn't matter what color or what the gender of the president is. It's not going to affect our little world.
Purely symbolic.
Where we bust our ass. Yes. Thank you. That was inspirational.
Thanks, Will.
Hey, Will. Oh, Will's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Are you Asian?
Yeah, I'm actually half Chinese.
Hey!
Yeah.
Get to work.
What are you doing, man?
I'm a CPA. Big surprise.
Yeah.
What?
All right. What'd your family teach you? Were the education and everything?
Yeah, it was. If you don't get A's, you're pretty much worthless.
What instrument did you play? Cello or violin or piano?
I didn't play any instrument.
What?
I was shamed
black
that way.
I haven't talked to these folks in 21
But-
years.
My, I had
It was 9 when
mom's
they
Mexican.
exiled me.
My mom's Mexican and my dad's Chinese,
Ah,
so
okay. There you go.
I was exposed to both sides of the coin, and I've got Mexican relatives that didn't
You
study,
support.
and that wasn't their priority, and some of them went to prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but I was surrounded mostly amongst my Chinese relatives, my Chinese side.
Mm-hmm.
So that structure to excel and do well in school was always there. And even coming from my mom, who, even though she's Mexican ethnically, her mentality was very much Asian. So,
Well, the bottom line that I found out here with a lot of folks, and the Hispanics in Southern California are very much this way, but I've worked with a lot of white guys this way too. It's not that they don't work hard. They work hard. People get into this thing all the time where it's like, you don't think these guys work hard? Yes, they work hard. I used to work
busting their
hard.
ass all the
I
time.
busted my ass cleaning carpets and digging ditches and whatever. And then the weekend would come around and they'd get drunk. They'd spend all their money and they'd go right back to working hard. What you need to do is spend your weekends taking night classes and other things to not have to go back to the working
Get off
hard
the
thing.
carousel.
Yes, get off of the carousel. Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. But I'll tell you one thing, at least it's a SoCal thing, very endearing, and I've been around long enough to see a lot of this. A lot of these guys, Hispanic guys, they work in the trades, electrician, mason, stuff like that. They'll start bringing their sons around. Now, it is this kind of a carousel thing, but it's at least a trade. They bring their sons. My electrician, the Jose's, it's nice. Little Jose is just called Gordo, which is great.
wait a
'cause
second.
since he was age 11, it was called Fat.
Fatty.
Just
Big
called him
boy?
Fat. Yeah. They're both good guys. I'm very, he's a big boy. I'm, happy that I convinced Jose Sr. to buy a house in San Fernando Valley like $100,000 like a million years ago. But now when these guys come to do work for me, dad's dad and son's 23 and he's calling the shots. I mean, dad's still in charge, but the son
He's taking the leadership role.
productive carousel.
working with him
Right.
for so many years is basically a journeyman electrician because at age 9, he was going out with him, working, learning how to do this. Just like when you come to Coronado this weekend, you see Sonny playing Angry Birds, sitting inside an air-conditioned trailer on a cooler while Daddy's wrenching away on the car. It's the same
It's in the blood.
same thing.